Kia ora everyone, my name's Kirby. Welcome to Talkback for a Tuesday. If you're listening to us on our Spotify or Apple Music podcasts, hi, I've got a half an hour of power for you. If you'd like to comment or make any kind of feedback, you can in our comment section during our live show, what else can you do? You can join us on the show if you've got a question as well. We're going to put a link out in the comments and you can send questions and whatnot. The news cycle has firmly been talking about Shane Warne, COVID, you know how it is. But Shane Warne lost his life in Thailand, aged 52, complaining about heart issues before he left, and then not having a real checkup. And then next thing you know, he's flying back, his body's flying back to Australia after an autopsy. So it's a lot of other guys my age. I'm late 40s going 50. When we had Inga the Winger, was it the week before? Around 52, that magic number. Well, we're looking at our health and we're wondering, what can we do to improve it? Now, I've done some kind of keto stuff. I've taken on a very physical job during the day. So I'm trying my best to get my health. I'm watching what I'm eating. You know, I've got 3 girls, 4, 10, and 11. And I just don't want to be a big fat guy, not being able to keep up with them. You know what I mean? My thing is I want to live as long as possible and enjoy every single day. You know, and I thought to myself on the weekend too when I heard that news, you know, Shane Warne would give anything for one more day with his kids. Come on, why wouldn't he? So I've got this time now. And so I suppose tonight we're talking to find answers. A woman called Bridget, she's a naturopath and holistic educator. And maybe she's got some answers. Maybe some answers lie there. So without any further ado, let's go meet our guest. Special guest, welcome to the show. How are you?
Great. How are you, Thane?
No worries. Well, you know, I'm a little bit put off with all these dudes dropping dead and having health issues, and she's a little bit spooky. So I was thinking, you know, first of all, what is a naturopath and holistic educator? And also, can you apply that to my health and my life right now?
Absolutely.
Great.
Yes, wow. Naturopath. So naturopath deals with nature as the cure, basically. We look at ourselves and in nature and how we are nature. Basically, we eat nature, our cells build from nature. So we look at the different imbalances in the body, and it really comes back to that hugely is about balance and bringing the body back to homeostasis, because when we're out of balance, that's when dis-ease comes. So we look at, you know, how the person's journey's been and how they've got to do, you know, where they've got to today in their state of health. Because dis-ease is a lot about an accumulative process.
Yes.
So, yeah. I mean, I studied 20 years ago to be a naturopath. I took a pathway. It took me about 7 years to actually study and get to that qualification, because I did it when my daughter was just a baby. I started my journey. And I did it part-time to begin and started at Park College, and then the degree pathway came in through South Pacific College of Natural Medicine, and so I finished there with a degree in complementary medicine, coming out as a medical herbalist and naturopath. And from there I sort of did a lot of, I opened my own health shop actually. I built that from scratch.
Cool.
In Onehunga, the Health Lounge it was called. But my marriage broke down, and you know, life happened, and that I sold that on to one of my best friends, the Natural Health Company, and they took that on board. And then I moved on to building a wee food business, and through that did corporate health and many different things that have brought me to where I'm at today. So when I actually sold that food business, I got approached by one of the biggest supplement companies, well, the largest supplement company in New Zealand. I'd actually approached them when I was doing corporate health, saying, hey, you need some people out here telling pharmacy and showing them how to, or what these products are, what nutrition is. because that's basically what supplements are. They're nutrition in a very therapeutic dose, either encapsulated or in tablet form or in liquids. So that's what it is, concentrated nutrition, really. So yeah, they approached me. Oh, well, I approached them 2 years before, told them they needed a trainer out there, and then when I sold the business, they basically approached me and said, "Hey, we've got a role we want to establish." So that was 6 years ago. So I've been sort of doing all of the training, established that for them. They weren't. They do a survey through retail, and they weren't rating through that. So now I think they're sort of in the top about 3 for training in New Zealand, which is great.
Mm.
And it's about getting the word out. And it is really about educating, because when we're educated and we're in tune with ourselves, we're able to be self-responsible. And that's the ability to respond to yourself, being in tune with what's happening in your body and what you need to do to rebalance it. And, I heard what you're talking about at the beginning. You don't want to get there and be this fat old guy sitting there and vegetating on the couch with not being able to integrate into life, right? So
Absolutely.
it's not about taking control, because we're told what health is and we're sold what health is, and it's truly not what health is. Health doesn't come in a capsule. It actually comes from you integrating and diversifying your life within our taiao, and our taiao being our environment.
So are you saying, so what is the recipe in your mind? Supplements, regular health, balanced diet, some walking shoes, get out there.
Yeah, well, it is really coming back to basics, and getting into detoxifying your life, cleansing yourself. One of the biggest things I do is I guide people through cleansing programs, because we regularly clean our car, clean our home, clean our clothes, clean the exterior of ourselves, but we never really take much notice of the interior. And our interior, what we put in here really determines who we're going to be, or, what we're going to build from, what we're going to think, how we're going to react and respond in our world. So we need to come back to those basics and think about how are we integrating and cleaning ourselves and enabling
Yes,
ourselves.
like mentally is what you say. How?
Well, yeah, mentally as well. I mean, it's all 4 pillars, right? We've got our wairoa, which is our spirituality. We've got our physical body, which is our tinana. We've got our hinengnaru, which is our mind and our mental health and our stability. And then there's our connection. Our connection, our whānau, and our whanaungatanga, which is our ability to connect in our environment. And when we look at ourselves and who we are, a lot of we're taught who we are. We're not able to be free range and actually feel who we are. And we're told, I often say we're overfed and undernourished, hugely. Through every orifice. Actually, we're told when to eat. We're told what to eat. When I went to school, showing my age a little bit, and like you maybe, Thane, we had breakfast and we had there wasn't morning tea. It was go out and run your energy off and have a drink, and then come back and we'd have lunch and we'd have dinner. We weren't having these 6 or 7 or 8 meals a day where kids are having breakfast and then they're having morning tea. They're sat down to have a snack and an afternoon tea as well as after school.
We all sound kind of like colonial soldiers, don't we? We have our afternoon tea and our morning tea.
Yeah, and then at certain times, right? And it's all about marketing and the profit, right? So we've got to stand back and think, oh, okay, well, actually, is this serving me? Because it's a lot about what's benefiting us and serving us. So, and we're told it a lot as well. I've actually done some judging in the science fair. And these are, year 9 and 10 and year 7 and 8. So 7 and 8 is intermediate, and 9 and 10 is just begun high school. And, you go in there, and I judge mainly the living earth section and the living science section. And most of these children are just really, really intent on killing bacteria. Everything has to be antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. And we're not taught that these things actually serve us. At any one time, you've got 10 to the 15 viruses traveling around your blood. And that's actually different types. That's not just one, and bacteria, they're singular cellular organisms which serve us in a lot of ways. They help us with digestion, and this is.
Can I hit you with a quick COVID question? Is that all right? Or I know everyone's talked about COVID a million times, but it's a real fast one. So I've got 2 vaccinations. I didn't get the booster because I was thinking, you know why? Because I was being hounded, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like a number. I feel like a sheep. The dog show when they're trying to herd these sheep. And I'm not using this because I know they're calling people sheep or stuff. But I just felt like a number that ended up in a press release the next day saying, hey, we did this. And so I was just like, I'll leave it alone. Then I caught COVID, and then I went through COVID. And then I was thinking, I don't need a booster now, right? Because I got natural immunity. But then I kind of like, I sat with that, and I just thought, yeah, stuff it. I've had COVID. I've got some natural immunity, some natural stuff's building in there now. And then this morning, I'm bombarded with this tidal wave of propaganda telling me that my brain's going to shrink. I'm going to have long-term memory issues. If I don't get the booster, even though I've had it. And I don't know what to believe anymore. You know what I mean? Is it so? Do I let nature take its course, or do I need to go and get the booster?
Yeah, well, I don't advocate having any vaccinations. Yeah, one of the biggest things is we have our own natural immunity, and when we play with that, we actually compromise it. We have to understand what the biome is, the microbiome, what the mycelium network is, and what the actual virome is. They're all part of it. Now, when I look at the microbiota, which includes the biome, the bacteria, and the mycelium, which is fungi, all of those, they live symbiotically together. They live in harmony, and they serve us. What you see in yourself, the mass in yourself, is only 10% of who you really are. We're a true reflection of nature. What you see out here is what you've got in here as well, and we're living. Okay, so when we look at the different seasonal changes, different levels of toxicity, different nutritional levels, it's all, that's what it means to be holistic in health, to look at all of this. And when I'm very much, science is based on tiro, which is observation. Okay, no science is set and no science is linear. Science is an ecosystem that we need to observe, because when we observe it, we actually see what's happening. When we look then and come back to the virome and what viruses are, we've been scared of them. We've been feared of them, and that actually creates stress. And when we come back to being living beings, which we are, that stress really compromises our ability to thrive in life. And it really compromises our immune system. Now, when we look at viruses, all they are the genomic database of the world. They allow for us to adapt in our environment. So every moment of every day, you're doing different adaptations, changing to be able to survive the different environmental changes, like the sun energy. If we didn't adapt through the different temperature changes, we'd, crumple like a leaf and die or dry up or get, too moist and actually not be able to thrive in this lifetime. And that's what it means, all about this balance. We come back to this balance. And I also talk about biodiversity, getting out in your environment. We need to get out in it because that's what grows us. We need to weed, feed, and seed our body. That's what the biome is. And when we go in, in Aotearoa in New Zealand, we've got some of the most ancient fauna and flora here. So we've got some of the most ancient biome. That's why we're so healthy.
We're
Don't
getting
have,
doing it.
yeah.
Yeah. I suppose it does come down to your state of mind, right? You need some kind of if you're a big lump on the couch and you've got no motivation, but you've got every streaming device on your phone, and now you can dial up, countdown to deliver your food. You don't even have to go outside. You know,
Well, this is really concerning because we're energetic beings, right? We're just electrical beings. Now, when I say we're a true reflection of nature, Thane, we are. We're 80% water, and our nervous system is what makes us go. And so that's our electrical wiring system. That's what sparks us to get into life and to thrive. Okay, so when we block that, when we actually don't have the insulation for that, when we don't, when we're drowning in that, we're not thriving. We're not having that happen, and so the stress factor goes up, and we're not able to balance that out easy. Our gut then gets affected. Our gut is so important, and that electrical wiring system within it.
How can you jumpstart the system into getting up and taking the first step to getting out there and facing yourself? If you are nature, how do you get out? How do you get out of your cave? We're so used to being staying inside. People are working at home. People have found ways to adapt in their little caves, and some of us aren't leaving.
Yeah, one of the best things you can do is not sleep on henikura, okay? And that's the sun energy. We get the sun energy, and when we see the sun in the morning with our nakedness, we actually stimulate because 80% of our serotonin is made on our gut lining. Do you know what serotonin is? It's your happy hormone.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good.
Yes.
And our gut, what gets us up in the morning is cortisol. Actually, we get a surge of cortisol. We wake up and we get out of bed and we get into our day. And that's a lot. People don't let go of that cortisol. They hold on. We're beings that don't let go. We're like so scared of letting go. How do we start? We get out. We watch the sunrise. We get our bare feet on the ground. We're part of that. How do our cells build? From our thoughts, from what we feed them.
Nakedness?
Yeah. So when we see the sunrise with the naked eye and the naked skin, as much nakedness as possible, we stimulate serotonin. Serotonin's what actually makes us feel good through the day. It's our sleep.
It's the same nakedness you have, like when you've got a newborn baby, and dad should take their shirts off and put the kid on their skin so they can feel some kind of connection. That's the kind of thing we're talking about, right?
A little bit different. That's the vibrational energy and connecting with Bub and with Pepe. So it's like it's that vibrational energy, and that vibrational energy, it's a lot about your pepeha, right? So when we talk about pepeha, that's our most ancient connections. And when we talk about our pepeha, our most ancient connections is our bacteria, because that's where we all go back to. So when we connect to our most ancient pepeha, we're connecting to our gut anyway, our internal environment. This is our colon, right? And so when we talk about food, when we talk about everything that's happened through our lives, we talk about colonization and how we've been colonized, right? And that's been taken away from us, the ability to actually feel and feel what's going on. And when we talk about mental health, our emotional seat or our seat of emotions is our gut. So when we've been disconnected through our gut, we feel these emotional pills and we're not able to balance. And that's why we're seeing all of this imbalance. I mean, there's many other reasons behind this.
It's almost like a triggering thing. When you do feel a little bit off balance, you want to drink some beer. When you feel a bit of, when you feel like you want to eat some chocolate.
So tell me what's going to happen to your garden, because this is our internal garden, right? Yeah. We're just a reflection of nature. We are inside out plants. Our root system's in here. This is our soil. Our mucous membranes are our soil. What we put in is very important. And like our garden, we are really susceptible to temperature, moisture, pH, and light. And our garden roots need to be dark, just like the roots of our garden. Okay. And then the soil is like, it needs to be moist, like our mucous membranes. In that, we've got this layer of a microbiome, which is all of that living material. And that's like your garden. That's like the broccoli and the apple trees and the rose garden. And it's all growing symbiotically, a permaculture garden. And it's all feeding each other and living symbiotically. Now, if I pour some beer on that, what's going to happen?
Yeah. Okay.
If I put an antibiotic, right? Yes. We are biome. Our cells build biologically. If I put an antibiotic on you, what's going to happen? It's going to break down your biome. It's going to break down your cellular biological structures. And that is actually slowly.
What happens if you really like beer, though?
I know. I'm going to make a gut-friendly alcohol. I've decided.
Thank God for that.
I was talking to someone the other night that's been really affected by the mandates, and I said to her, let's make a gut-friendly alcohol, because they've been in the hospitality business, and that's been hit huge. Yeah.
Sophie Louise says, do you know anyone that does chakra healings?
Yes, well, chakra is all about your energy. You can talk about them being your chakra. You can be talking about them. We talk about them here in our rongoa, because I'm a rongoa practitioner, as being our whatu manawa, our manawa, and our pū manawa. And it's aligning that energy. We, in different cultures, they look at things differently. It's all about aligning that energy. And so when we align that energy, it's really about cleansing. And when we cleanse our state, our physical state, but we actually look at all of those, our mental health state, our spiritual state, and our connections with nature, with our whanaunga. And when we talk about whanaunga, I'm talking about our plants, our rako, our...
So what is a chakra again? And just in a one sentence?
So it's your energy centers.
Right.
So you've got your crown chakra, your third eye, your heart, your solar...
Why would you need this healed?
A lot of people become disconnected because they put blocks in. When we're talking about our throat chakra here, a lot of people don't speak their truth. So they'll get blockages here, and then they'll go on, that'll accumulate, and they're not able to actually voice things well. We might actually lose a lot of our confidence, and we might have to work on our base chakra. And each of these chakras relate to different vibrational energy and colors. So when we're looking at the different colors, that's the different colors that go through our aura as well. And this can shine in your vibrational energy. I don't know if you've, talked about auras, but it's all about, those colors and the vibrations that come in, and that's who we are.
Do you get a good aura from me, or how?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a beautiful aura.
Oh, thank you.
Very calm.
Yes, I've been working on it, I've been trying week by week to improve my aura. Just my vibration, that type of thing.
One of the best things you can do with your vibration is just intentionally breathe.
Yeah. Totally.
And one of the best things that you can do for your health is drink pure spring water or purified water. Yeah. Okay. Our water, because we are 80% water, when we drink water, we need it to be alive and structured. Yeah. Water through the taps has been altered, and actually fluoride and chlorine are not good for us. I mean, what happens when you put chlorine in a pool?
Yeah. Let's look at the purified water thing. Where are you buying your purified water? Are you making it? You got like a filter at home or something?
Yes, I do. Actually, I have a Kangen water machine, which actually creates and it enlivens the water. So when we look at water, we look at the pH. Okay, and we look at the pH of everything, and that's the level of acidity and alkalinity. And all it is the portion of hydrogen. So when we have more hydrogen, we've got an alkaline environment. When we've got less, we've got an acidic environment. And so if we make ourselves more alkaline with more hydrogen, we're actually creating a better space to flow from, right? Because we've got more hydrogen. And when we're alkaline, and this is a lot of what it means, like people will say, oh, greens are alkaline. It's because they're higher in hydrogen. Whereas like carbohydrates that have been processed and dehydrated, like breads and white sort of processed foods, they've been dehydrated. So they require hydrogen to be digested. Therefore, they lower the pH and take us into acidity. And what happens when you throw acid on your skin?
Burns.
Yeah, so that's what's going to happen on your interior skin. Because we have our external skin, and then we have our internal skin, and that is huge because that's what we use to digest and to everything, actually. It's where 80% of our immune system lies, is in our gut, because they're like our little guardians that, really go in there and they say, hey, guys, the things coming in here, if something's coming in that's not going to serve us, they'll say, no, you're out the back door, or they'll basically kill it.
Purified water, going out for a walk in the sunshine, nakedness.
Yeah.
And what else is the other thing?
Sleep.
Yeah. And stress relief, right? Oh, are you saying sleep? Did you just say sleep?
Yeah, I said sleep. Rest is the universal nurse.
Right.
Yeah. So when we sleep, so that sleep-wake cycle is really, really important. We get serotonin to get us through the day. That's our happy hormone, but that's actually the base builder for melatonin. Right. And melatonin kicks in at night an hour after the sun goes down.
What do you think to these melatonin gummies you can take half an hour before you go to bed, then, hey, presto, done?
Oh, yeah, no. Well, I can't comment about things I haven't looked into. Okay. I don't look at them specifically because I don't think they're therapeutic doses, and I think they're full of sugar. When I look at supplements, I think we digest by when the food is here, or when we start to smell it, then we start to see it. Our body then starts to resonate with what's coming in, and then it will get ready and start to digest it. When we're taking a pill or a capsule, we haven't got the taste buds down here to decipher what's in it.
Shortcut, isn't it? Shortcut.
Yeah, shortcut. So I deal a lot with I actually bring in some supplements from the US, which are liposomal, food-based, small, batch-made, all organic. They're grown in Hawaii, actually, which is part of us. So,
what's your website? Where can we look at those?
I'm just building it, actually, because I've been this educator and out on the road for the last 6 years. I'm now flipping into being more in the public or being in this space, and starting to really build myself. So I just started an Instagram page. I've got about 25 posts, and
what is your Instagram?
It's just Reasonate. So it's not Resonate, it's Reasonate, because there's a reason we consume everything we do.
Yeah.
So there's a reason we ate it. There's reason that we can get rid of it. Reasonate.nz.
.nz, okay.
Yeah. And we have to be really, really conscious and discerning. And that's what I was going to say to you before, this just actually looking at my website's not up yet, actually, because I just got in, but it is coming within the next, hopefully, couple of weeks, and it's going to be in e-commerce, but I've got lots of things happening on it, so we'll be able to connect in different ways with different people. Yeah.
What was I going to say before we all go? So there's a really good stuff. Hey, just on the sleep thing, how long would you suggest a sleep for?
So I suggest go to bed an hour after the sun sets, if we can, and sleep, for at least, get to bed before 11. 10:30 should be the latest, because it's all about the number of cycles we go through. when we go through these sleep cycles, there's these different sort of cycles that we go through, different phases. So the amount of phases we go through is the amount of regeneration we'll get. So when you're in the REM state, which is the rapid eye movement state, that's when we're using about 50% of our calorie intake from the day. And that's when we do our most regeneration. So we regenerate all the tissue that's been damaged. And when we talk about stress and, men at 50, it's a lot about that and protection and creating that antioxidant, because we oxidize so quickly through what we're doing. But the sleep is really important because we're regenerating and rejuvenating. And when we miss some of that, we go into a deficit. And when we deficit, we're not able to rebuild or regenerate to the rate we should be. I mean, as beings, living beings, we should be living to around 150, 200 years old. We're cutting ourselves short hugely because we're not breathing, we're not drinking, we're not being discerning or conscious and in tune with what we really need. We've been sold all of this stuff, and literally for profit, not for our benefit.
Well, I mean, why don't horses live for 150 years old? I mean, they go to streams, they have a little bit of a drink, they have a bit of a run around, they eat nothing but grass.
Different DNA, different and different genetic structures. When we talk about genetics, and I was talking about the virome before, it really is about sequencing. So our cells sequence for proteins. This is what it means when you get these spike proteins, and they're novel proteins because they're new. It's a new protein sequence. So, we don't know what that's going to produce in 5 years or in 10 years. But we know that our tinana, our cells, produce proteins to repair and build our body. That's what we are, predominantly 80% protein or 70% protein. And that's what we do. Each cell produces that and sequences for that.
So can I just say, because this is very interesting, the protein stuff. So what is the best diet, would you suggest? There's a lot of diets out there.
I love it when people ask me, what's the best diet? I say, why do you want to go on something with the word die in it?
Right. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. I know. I'm a bit of a wordsmither. I never say good morning because I don't want to wish people a day of mourning. I always say grand rising and let's rise together, because it's all about this bringing, and that's vibrational energy. We speak it all the time. Yeah. So back to your question again, Mr. Kirby.
Right.
Can you repeat it again? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. My question was, because we're all protein, and I hear what you're saying about sugars and carbohydrates.
What's the best nutritional intake?
I'd say it without using the D word.
Yeah. We need to become very conscious and more discerning about what we're consuming in every orifice. Yeah. What we're doing, really, when we get up and breaking the fast, because that's what breakfast is about, we should be rehydrating our body. I tell people to get up, go outside, watch sunrise in bare feet and whatever, even dive in the moana for sunrise. If you can, in the sea, that'll balance you, because of by osmosis, that's what we are, right? And then seeing that, we'll enliven ourselves. Then hydrate your body. Then listen, observe. When you need to feed your body, usually hunger is thirst. So we need to make sure that we're well hydrated. When we're eating food, we should be eating a lot of raw foods, because that's the hydration and the fiber that comes in. Protein, if we're getting protein from plant sources, we need to make sure they're complete proteins. And when we talk about complete proteins, it's like getting all of the amino acids, the essential amino acids that we don't actually take in. So it's about combining different things to get a whole protein, because that's what we need. If we're eating, I'm a qualitarian. I eat quality food. I don't eat things with toxic load on them. I eat things with, that are pure and from nature and as close to nature. I do education around wisdom and weeds. We can make food from our backyard as long as it's not sprayed or sprayed with animals as well. I'm talking about. And glyphosates, things like Roundup, they've only ever been registered as antibiotics or approved as. So when we're eating things with that, we're breaking down our biome again. So we're not serving ourselves, it's being discerning.
Okay. What about the cold? Everyone's in these cold baths now, those little ice baths. They're good? It's good?
I have cold shower every morning.
Right.
So yeah, I'll rise and I go out and I put my feet on the ground and I'll do my karakia and my taku taku. I'll bring in my protection and I'll just ask my ancestors and I'll be grateful. Aren't we so lucky to be alive? I was talking to somebody today. We in New Zealand, we go out, we can see green, we can see the sea, we can see things so. We've got Maunga mountain to climb within not very far. We're very, very lucky, unlike a lot of other countries. So it's about being grateful and then knowing what we've got and how we're going to feed ourselves well through the day and night. It's really about that balance, coming back to it.
Gosh, okay.
And herbs. Our herbs are so important. Our plants, plants are medicine. That's where all medicines come from. A lot of these medicines that so-called medicines that you see, they're quite mechanistic. They take away the holistic value. There's a reason medicine's a whole. There's a reason we resonate with the plants, because we are them inside out.
Yeah. A lot of what you've said tonight has really made sense. Some of it's a little bit fanciful, like the lyrics of a Fleetwood Mac song. But I love Fleetwood Mac, thank God.
I do too. And actually, I went and saw Stevie just before COVID hit when she came in.
Really?
She did a belladonna pose. It's just so beautiful.
It's so good. I've seen them a couple of times in concert, and they are just the best. They always deliver.
I went to one of their concerts at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I saw Guns N' Roses over there too. Things are pretty cool.
Absolutely. I saw Guns N' Roses at Mount Smart when it was Mount Smart years ago. So great band. Excellent. Hey, look, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate this. It has opened up my mind to a couple of some stuff that I knew. You've reinforced a lot of things, but I think the biggest change I could make in taking from this conversation is purified water. I really am probably going to go and buy one of those things. What's the one you've got?
I've got a Camden water machine. Yeah, and I'm a distributor, so I can help you with that if you need.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah.
Well, what I'll do is I'll join you. I'll message you.
Yeah. I mean, water's really important, and getting our hands in the soil, and organic farming, and regenerative practices, and permaculture. All of those things. I think that's been enlivened again through this whole process. And I started another wee business with my daughter, which is around, we've called it Maramakai, and it's around edible gardens. And it's really just making people more conscious of getting their greens and raw foods every day. So when we talk about purified water, we can also get those water sources from our fresh microgreens every day too. And you can have those, this is something that, because we're so urban now, we don't get our fingers in the soil, we don't have those things at our fingertips. This is making it more accessible and affordable for people. So although, we think water, it's also about getting that fibre and getting the water with it too.
Microgreens too. That's like real fancy restaurant type thing, eh? You're gonna have microgreens. But I'm just saying, I've seen it in the fancy restaurant type on the menu. The microgreens. Yeah. If you're putting down a garden, what is your top 3 must-haves in that garden?
So mine, coriander, because it's a chelator, helps with heavy metals, and it tastes awesome. And I always make raw salsas and raw foods. I'm a huge raw foodie. And I have lettuces. So I have my rocket and all my lettuces. And I have, there's quite a few things I wouldn't go without, actually, that I pick from every day, and different colours. So I usually will have an oak lettuce, which is more red, a rocket, and maybe a mizuna, which is red as well. And I'll pick from each colour, because we should be eating a rainbow as well, because they bring different nutrients. It's a lot about, that balance and the minerals that you'll get from that. But you're only as good, your plants are only as good as what the soil is. So it's really enlivening the soil and making sure the soil's alive, because if the soil's alive, your plants aren't going to be thriving. And it's a lot about getting that balance right.
Hey, someone's just sent me this is I don't know if you can see it, a water purifier, right?
Yep.
They're using now. And look at the stuff that's come out of their tap water.
I know.
Isn't it incredible?
Well, one of the biggest things with water that we get through water, it dies. It's not alive because it comes through all those pipes. And they put chlorine in it, which is not great because it kills the bacteria. So that kills the liveliness, but also fluoride. And fluoride is has an affinity to calcium. And so people say, oh, it hardens and it, blocks your third eye, your vision. And yes, it does, because it has an affinity for this area and with calcium, but it actually hardens. It's not specific to our Whatu Manua, our third eye. So it hardens the body. And when we harden, we're going down the wrong track. We don't want to go down that track. We want to be fluid and flowing through life and thriving, not hardening and becoming inflamed and in pain, because that's not how to thrive.
No, exactly. Reverse, and you can change your life at any time. It's got to
not
get out.
To survive, we're here to thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, very nice talking to you, Bridget Reasonate.
You're welcome. Pleasure is mine, actually. It's been amazing.
Yeah, it's been a great little chat. And the other thing is if you, once you get your websites up, let's go and let's have another chat. And then I'm sure more questions will come to me, and then we'll take it from there. We've got some other things coming in. Andrew says, what about growing with clay ball and, was it perlite, which is not a soil? Surely it's about the nutrients.
It is. It's a lot about the nutrients, as long as you've got a good balance. But unfortunately, with clay, we don't get a lot of live biologic happenings with clay, but clay brings different nutrients, and it's a lot about biodiversification. Right. We never, that's the issue. We monocrop too much. We have these singular crops all the time turning over, and that's not organic regenerative farming. When we turn things over, we're remineralizing and refreshing the soil. Nadia Lim and her partner have I can't remember the name of their place down the South Island, and they're doing this so well because they just turn over different crops, and they know that what they're doing with the soil and regenerating it, and it's a lot about that. So but clay is where we came from, right? That's where the first one came from. She was built from the red clay, so always the female energy is going to be very nourishing. And so clay balls are amazing, and they break down amazing, but we need the right nutrients. We can't keep doing the same thing over and over.
Gotcha. Happy International Women's Day, by the way.
Oh, yes. Isn't that beautiful? Happy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, okay. And also, I've been spending more time with my daughter because her kidneys closed because of infections and stuff. And so I took her to the pools today, and then we went to, the zoo, and we walked around. And I just thought, she's in a better mood. I'm in a better mood. It was sunny out. We were just hanging out, I just think time with friends and family is another thing that puts me in a really good mood. And usually I'm just like, fuck it. I'm going to take a day off work today to do this, because I was just like, I'm into it. And, we
need to do these things, and that is about being discerning. I used to have friends of the zoo past myself, and I used to take my daughter pretty much 2 or 3 times a week. We'd go for a walk around. But that's the sun energy too, And the other thing is eating seasonally. See, when we see the sun, we create vitamin D, and we create these different hydrogen molecules to be activated and enliven. And so when we're outside doing this, we're doing that. But we're also getting different biome from their different environments, which enliven us as well. And then we're visioning all of these beautiful things in nature. And that actually brings these beautiful vibrations as well. You know, everything that we're doing really affects our tinana at every second or microsecond of the day. It's like a cascade.
Are you into manifestation and all that kind of stuff? You know, you put it out to the world and it comes back. You know, you kind of like you're building some kind of picture of your life in your mind, and somehow you're sending it out to the world, and the world creates it for you. And I don't know. Are you into that type of thing?
Oh, it's alchemy, isn't it?
Right. Okay.
That's what we put out is what we get back.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do believe in manifestation. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sit and do it well myself. I manifest well for others, not perhaps myself so much. I need to really probably get some education on that.
Yeah. I'm the kind of
and take the time.
Yeah. Andrew's back. If you calcify the pineal gland with fluoride, why don't they put it in the water? Why do they put it in the water?
That's a question you'll have to really go back to the Ministry of Health, because there's huge amounts of research to show this, Andrew, and it actually has been linked to dementia and many other things, fluoride.
Yeah.
And the Ministry of Health, or Andrew Bloomfield, was talking about putting it through nationally. And I think through all of this COVID stuff, we've seen quite a few changes under the carpet be put through that we haven't actually, or that hasn't been transparent. And that's unfortunate, because there's no need for fluoride in our water. There really isn't. They use it as because children get carrier effect in their teeth, so it's like the imbalance in nutrition, but that's such rubbish. It's about the sugar, and when we have too much sugar, we imbalance the biome, and that actually enlivens different bacteria to start, and different enzyme actions to start breaking down the enamel and open up the teeth. It's got nothing to do with fluoride. We have no need for it whatsoever.
Just quickly before we go, because we've got to wrap it up, I'm going to get at least 12 hours sleep before I get to it.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, what do you reckon to meat and stuff? If people love a good steak and stuff for the pack and save, you know, sometimes you get those cheap meat weeks. Is meat from the supermarket a good thing for you?
No.
Okay.
I think organic, right? Because organically grown produce, we know where our energy is coming from. When I was talking about markets and farmers and things, and when we shop off the supermarket shelves, we don't know where our energy is coming from. We are energy. We need to know where our fuel is coming from. And so when we're connecting with the raw foods and the organic foods, we know that it's good energy. Supermarket shelves, the reason that that's cheap, it's like a car, right? If you're going to buy a cheap car, you're not going to get far. And meat takes 8 hours to digest. So I only suggest like one huge meat meal a day and let your body digest it. Otherwise, you're placing it on top of, and people become really congested and compacted. And then we end up with things like constipation or diarrhea or issues in our gut and rotting. You know, our gut is a good environment. You can get a rotten gut. That's what diverticulitis is. And, you know, you can get irritable bowel. And these are beginnings of disease. So we really want to take notice and be more discerning.
Yeah, true. Please don't get your meat from Walmart. I think we've got an overseas person.
No. I only shop organically, and I make a lot of bone broths because we get a lot of minerals and collagen and good regenerative processes, nutrients in there. And it's really about feeding our body the right thing to get the right regenerative and the right space to heal, basically. Yeah. And, you know, that's balance as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your body will tell you. If you start listening, your body will tell you. And I can help you with that. I guide cleansers. So I sort of take people back so they can clean themselves out on the inside and then reset.
Yeah. Sophia Louise, I have IBS so bad it makes things very hard.
Yeah. And so irritable bowel syndrome or irritable bowel disorders, yeah, they are very, but we can heal. Anything that we're not born with, we can heal from. And when we have cold showers, we were talking about cold before, that's about epigenetics. That's
Right.
about changing that sequencing and allowing our body to actually move forward and release blockages. And it's a lot about our gut and being able to tone our biome and tone ourselves.
What about exercising and stuff? The traditional exercising, going to Les Mills, jumping on a bike, watching some high intensity music video or music while someone's shouting at you. Is that still good?
Oh, I believe that you need to exercise, but you need to do it well. And you need to protect your body while you're doing it. I've exercised in gyms. I've been to, different trainings where, like the F45, and really you smash your body about, and you can get a lot of inflammation, a lot of pain if you're not protecting yourself. I actually go to a lady who does Core Restore. Well, that's her business name, but she makes you protect yourself. So you tuck your tailbone in, you hold your gut. So you're actually holding your body and not allowing your muscles and your structure to get out of balance and create that inflammation. It's all about how you do things and being discerning and conscious about it. We can go out willy-nilly and smash ourselves about and think we're doing a good thing. However, it's really, tuning in to see if that's serving us or not. If you're getting a lot of pain, it's probably not serving you so well. You need to protect yourself.
I'm more of a walker, to be honest. I like a nice, comfortable pair of shoes and just go for a nice walk and a talk. And then you look at the time and go, sheesh, we've been walking a long time now. And if you keep consistent with the walking, it just all comes off if that's what you're into. Or you tighten up, don't you?
Yeah. Well, the inflammatory pathways are really interesting. We need to really get our inflammation under control and know where it comes from and how we're feeding into that pathway.
Yeah. Andrew, it's funny with the old caged chicken or free range debate. You would think that killing a chicken living a good life is more inhumane than killing one that is suffering. Hey.
Yeah, well, it's all about energy, actually, and how we're fueling our body. If that chicken in the cage isn't really having a good life, we're not going to be getting a lot of good energy from it. That's how I see it, Just bring it back to basics. We don't need to make it complicated. There's too many things that have been made complicated and made big words out of. If we bring it back to basics, we'll start to comprehend and be more learned. And when I talk about learn, we take the L off and we actually earn what we get.
I just look at those, you take those pre-cooked chickens in the bag, right? And the ones that have probably been pumped with steroids and all that kind of stuff and overfed, they're big and juicy and plump. And the ones that are free range, they look like little possums. They're just like scrawny little things.
Go and get a Bostock's chicken and cook it up, honestly. Put it. I have a, how our grandparents used to have those roasting dishes with the lid on it. And I have one of those, and I roast my chicken in that, or I do it on my little Weber Barbie with the lid down, and I don't overcook it, never overcook it. It's always got to be really juicy, and that is the structure that you'll get from an organic and the taste that you'll get from an organically grown, free range. I mean, it's just like our children. Would you want to cage your children, or do you want them to be running about in nature, biodiversifying and be free range? It's all energy. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I'm only kidding. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. And Jonathan's coming back with a great little comment here saying, boom, it's all about energy.
Totally is. Yeah. And energy comes from your fuel, and it's all about vitality. My one of my businesses, I do corporate health and I do training and compliance and regulations, and that for natural health companies, but that is all about Vital Force, and that's my company name, Vital Force Wellness Consultants.
That's pretty cool. You know what? I feel sorry for our. Although I don't feel sorry for our tradies, but there's a lot of tradies out there that are on the Monster Energy drink, the V's, smashing pies and darts, and drive through every single day. And it's like, wow, and they're calling that fuel, you know what I mean? And then they're going out. I suppose they've got the benefit of being on the hammers and you expelling a lot of energy. But what you're saying, what's going in the tank isn't the purified water and the.
We need drive-through microgreen edibles. Yeah. I've got edible gardens. Shall we just have like a drive-through and people can just pick on their way through the edible, you know?
How cool would that be?
Because when I walk past my garden, I always pick a leaf and eat it straight off it. I don't even wash it because I know I'm getting all that good biome from it.
That's nice. How much water should you consume a day? Is that stock standard? Is that the...
Yeah, it depends on your body size, really, but anywhere between 2 to 3 litres, even 4 litres for some people, depending on your expenditure. So if you're going out and you're sweating a bucket load, if you're a tradie, you should be having more. And you should be having more green microgreens as well, because that's going to provide you sustenance and minerals to keep your body going. And they might go better on a few protein meals, if they're doing more of a physical. Whereas now that I'm not on the run all the time and I'm sitting at my desk, I only really have one good meal a day. And then, I might have a broth and then I'll have a salad, and that would be my day sort of thing. But you've really got, this is about being discerning and being in tune. When I talk about self-responsible health, it's about the ability to respond to yourself and your own needs, being able to tune in.
Yeah, and that's the important thing. Animals live, plants live. Why is it more acceptable to kill a vegetable? Is it the life to nutrition ratio?
Papatuanuku produces all this beautiful, beautiful nutrition for all of her beings. So we're just the Potiki of the world. We're the youngest born. We're probably the most disrespectful too. I do agree with that because we find it acceptable to kill everything for our own good.
Yes.
Is it for our own good? Veg is something that we sustain. There's reason. That's why it's an ecosystem. We're here to serve each other. And vegetables are part of us. We're plants, they sustain us. And we're not killing them, we're just recycling them.
Absolutely.
Recycling bin. That's all we do. We ferment things, we break it down, we utilize it, and then, our ferment comes out the other end.
Love it.
Our waste.
Yes. Hey, thank you so much again for our final wrap-up. It's been a real pleasure talking to you, and you must come on again. I know that if we give our audience a lot more warning, we'll come armed with a whole heap of questions right from the get-go. And it has been a really interesting, really cool conversation tonight, so I really appreciate your time.
Oh, I appreciate coming on. Thanks for having me, Thane.
No worries.
It's been your pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm lovely to meet you.
And look at this. Great talk. Bridget is a real one. We've got Laura here. She is brilliant, very well versed, and great energy.
Thank you.
No worries. Hey, thank you very much, and we'll be in touch again very shortly. Thank you.
Bye.
See you. Bye. Bridget, so cool. So cool, and looking fantastic there on that couch. Hey, what I just want to say is if everyone can help support the show by going to talkback. What is it again, Selena? Is it talkback.nz or talkback.tv? It could be, hang on, I'll just double check. Talkback.nz. And there's a way that you can help us pay for all this stuff and buy us a coffee or whatever all that type of stuff is. But it's basically just playing for Wahoo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Helping us pick up a couple of costs. No one's making anything out of this. We're just turning up and doing it, you know what I mean? That's it, talkback.nz. And then it's got links to all the episodes that you may have missed. You can buy me a coffee or there's some kind of PayPal option. Hey, thank you again, everybody. Nice show. Back tomorrow with Bomber Bradbury. We're talking politics. From us, a very good evening. Good night.